Meet John, a man in his early 30s who once had dreams as big as the sky. But life has a way of throwing curveballs, and for John, the dream has turned into a relentless struggle. John lives in a small, rundown apartment, the kind where the paint peels off the walls, and the flickering lights are a constant reminder of the instability that has seeped into his life. Despite working 2 minimum-wage jobs, one at a local diner and the other at a grocery store, John can't seem to catch a break. Every morning he wakes up before dawn, his body aching from exhaustion, and every night he collapses into bed, only to repeat the cycle the next day. The numbers are staggering. John earns just $15,000 a year, far below the poverty line in his city. His rent alone consumes more than half of his income, leaving him with barely enough to cover basic necessities. He skips meals so that he can afford the bus fare to work, often going to bed hungry. The most crushing blow came recently when his wife, unable to bear the constant financial strain, took their young son and left. John is now not only financially broke, but emotionally shattered. He clings to the few photos of his son, memories of happier times, but each glance at those photos feels like a stab to his heart. John's health is deteriorating. Stress has become his constant companion, gnawing away at his well-being. The lack of proper nutrition and the overwhelming fatigue have led to frequent bouts of illness. Yet, he has no choice but to push through. Medical bills are a luxury he can't afford. Every day, John feels the weight of his situation pressing down on him, a crushing burden that seems impossible to lift. He feels trapped, stuck in a never-ending cycle of poverty. The light at the end of the tunnel seems dim, almost non-existent. But John is not ready to give up. Despite the despair, a flicker of hope remains in his heart. He knows that somehow, some way, he needs to find a way out, not just for himself, but for the chance to reunite with his son and give him the life he deserves. In the depths of his despair, John is about to encounter a chance that will change everything. This is the beginning of John's journey, a journey of struggle, hope, and transformation. John's days blur together in a haze of exhaustion and worry. Each morning, he wakes up in his cramped apartment, greeted by the sound of dripping water from a leaky faucet and the faint hum of traffic outside. He glances at the eviction notice taped to his door, a stark reminder that he's just one step away from homelessness. The rent is overdue by 2 months, and John has exhausted all his options. He's borrowed from friends, pleaded with the landlord, but nothing seems to make a difference. The looming threat of losing his home adds another layer to his already heavy burden. At work, John moves through the motions, his body on autopilot. At the diner, he serves customers with a forced smile, masking the turmoil inside. During his shifts at the grocery store, he stocks shelves and bags groceries, trying to ignore the gnawing hunger in his stomach. Skipping meals has become a necessity to stretch his meager earnings. John's health is failing. The constant stress and lack of proper nutrition have taken a toll. He's lost weight, his clothes hanging loosely on his frame. Frequent headaches and bouts of dizziness make his daily grind even more challenging. There's no money for a doctor's visit, so he pushes through the pain, fearing what might happen if he doesn't. One night, after a particularly grueling double shift, John returns to his apartment, only to find the electricity has been cut off. The darkness envelops him, mirroring the hopelessness that threatens to consume him. He sits on his bed, the silence broken only by his own labored breathing. Tears sting his eyes, but he quickly wipes them away, unwilling to let himself break. He takes out his phone and scrolls through photos of his son, the only source of light in his dark world. His son's smile, bright and innocent, is a stark contrast to John's current reality. He hasn't seen him in weeks, the separation a constant ache in his heart. The thought of his son keeps him going, a small but powerful motivation to keep fighting. Despite the overwhelming odds, John refuses to give up. He knows he must find a way out of this desperate situation. He just needs a glimmer of hope, a sign that things can change. Little does he know, that sign is about to come in the most unexpected way. In the midst of John's darkest days, when hope seemed like a distant dream, a chance encounter begins to turn the tide. It was a typical night at the diner, John's weary eyes scanning the faces of customers, serving them with robotic precision. The tip jar was nearly empty, a painful reminder of how little people appreciated his effort. Just as he was about to close up for the night, an elderly man walked in. He had a kind face, lined with the wisdom of years, and a gentle smile that seemed out of place in John's harsh reality. "Just a cup of coffee, please," the man said, his voice soft, yet filled with a warmth that immediately caught John's attention. As John served the coffee, the man engaged him in conversation. Unlike others, he wasn't just making small talk. He seemed genuinely interested in John's life. Hesitant at first, John found himself opening up about his struggles, the endless hours of work, the looming eviction, and the aching loneliness since his wife and son left. The man listened intently, his eyes filled with empathy. When John finished, he reached into his wallet and left a $100 tip, a sum that took John's breath away. Along with the money, he handed John a note. "This is my card. My name is Mr. Smith. I believe in second chances, and I see potential in you. If you're willing to work hard and learn, I can help you turn things around. Call me." John stared at the card, his heart pounding. It seemed too good to be true. But what did he have to lose? That night, for the first time in months, he felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this was the break he needed. The next day, filled with a mix of skepticism and desperation, John called Mr. Smith. They arranged to meet at a local coffee shop. When John arrived, he was nervous, unsure of what to expect. Mr. Smith greeted him warmly, his demeanor putting John at ease. Over the next hour, Mr. Smith shared his story. He was a retired entrepreneur who had faced his own share of struggles. He understood what it was like to be at rock bottom, but he also knew the power of resilience and smart financial choices. He offered to mentor John, teaching him the basics of financial management and investing. Mr. Smith's offer was a lifeline, and John grabbed it with both hands. They set a schedule for regular meetings, and Mr. Smith introduced John to a community center that offered free financial literacy classes and support groups. John's journey was far from over, but for the first time, he saw a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. With Mr. Smith's guidance and the resources available to him, John was ready to start his climb out of despair. Mr. Smith's first lesson was about budgeting. He taught John how to track his income and expenses meticulously. They created a simple budget, focusing on prioritizing essential needs and eliminating unnecessary expenditures. John learned the importance of saving, even if it was just a few dollars each week. "Every dollar saved is a step closer to your goals," Mr. Smith would remind him. It was a hard adjustment, but John was determined. He cut out small luxuries like buying coffee at work and started cooking simple meals at home. The savings, though modest, began to add up. Next, Mr. Smith introduced John to the concept of investing. At first, it seemed daunting. John had always thought investing was something only wealthy people could do. But Mr. Smith broke it down, explaining how small, consistent investments could grow over time thanks to the power of compound interest. He took John to the community center where free financial literacy classes were held. These classes were a game changer. John learned about different types of investments, from stocks and bonds to mutual funds and real estate. The knowledge empowered him, replacing his fear of the unknown with a newfound confidence. Despite the progress, there were setbacks. John faced moments of doubt, especially when initial investments didn't yield immediate returns. There were times when unexpected expenses, like medical bills, threatened to derail his efforts. But Mr. Smith was always there to offer encouragement and practical advice. "Remember, John, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Persistence is key," Mr. Smith would say. With his mentor's support, John began to see small victories. He managed to pay off a lingering debt, which felt like a massive weight lifted off his shoulders. His credit score started to improve, opening doors that had been previously closed. Through the community center, John also found a support group of individuals facing similar challenges. Sharing experiences and strategies with others in the same boat provided him with a sense of camaraderie and motivation. He no longer felt alone in his struggle. As weeks turned into months, John's financial situation gradually improved. He found a better-paying job through networking at the community center, which allowed him to save more and invest wisely. His confidence grew with each passing day, and he began to believe in a brighter future. The transformation was not just financial. John started to heal emotionally as well. He reconciled with his wife, who was moved by his determination and the positive changes he was making. Slowly, they rebuilt their relationship, and John's heart swelled with joy the first time he held his son again after months of separation. John's life was far from perfect, but he was no longer defined by his struggles. With Mr. Smith's mentorship and the support of his community, he was on a path to not only improving his own life, but also helping others find their way out of financial hardship. John's path to financial stability was not a straight line. It was filled with ups and downs, triumphs and setbacks, each shaping his resilience and determination. One of the first major challenges came when his newly repaired car broke down again. It was his only means of transportation to work, and the repair bill was steep. The setback threatened to wipe out his modest savings. John felt a familiar pang of despair, but he remembered Mr. Smith's advice about persistence and resourcefulness. Instead of giving up, John approached the situation with a new mindset. He negotiated with the mechanic for a payment plan and took on extra shifts at work to cover the costs. It was exhausting, but he managed to keep his car running and his job secure. On the flip side, there were moments of unexpected joy. One such moment came when John received his first dividend payment from the small investments he had made. It wasn't a large amount, but it was a tangible proof that his efforts were paying off. He proudly showed the check to Mr. Smith, who congratulated him on this milestone. "Small steps lead to big changes, John. Keep moving forward," Mr. Smith encouraged. One of the lowest points came when John's employer announced layoffs. Panic gripped him as he faced the possibility of unemployment. But instead of succumbing to fear, he took proactive steps. He updated his resume, attended job fairs, and reached out to contacts he had made through the community center. His efforts paid off when he landed a job with better pay and more stable hours. This new position allowed him to save more aggressively and invest more confidently. The financial stability also brought a sense of peace, allowing him to focus on his personal growth and family life. The most significant turning point came when John managed to save enough for a down payment on a modest house. Moving his family into a home of their own felt like a dream come true. It was a testament to his hard work and the support he had received. His son's laughter filled the rooms, a constant reminder of why he had fought so hard. Throughout these ups and downs, John's relationship with Mr. Smith deepened. The elderly man had become more than a mentor. He was a father figure, guiding John not just in finances, but in life. John often reflected on how different his life had become since that fateful night at the diner. John's newfound financial stability allowed him to address long-neglected health issues. He visited a doctor, receiving treatment for his stress-related ailments and improving his overall well-being. With better health came renewed energy and a clearer mind, enabling him to tackle challenges more effectively. His relationship with his wife, once strained to the breaking point, began to heal. They attended counseling sessions, learning to communicate and support each other better. The bond with his son grew stronger as well. John cherished every moment with him, determined to provide a stable and loving home. The modest house they moved into became a symbol of John's hard work and determination. It wasn't just a roof over their heads. It was a home filled with hope and the promise of a better future. Every time John walked through the door, he was reminded of how far he had come. John also found a sense of purpose in helping others. He started volunteering at the community center, sharing his story and offering guidance to those in similar situations. His journey had given him a wealth of knowledge and empathy, making him an effective mentor. Seeing others benefit from his experience filled him with pride and gratitude. One of the most profound moments of his transformation came when John was invited to speak at a financial literacy seminar. Standing in front of an audience, he shared his journey from despair to stability, highlighting the importance of persistence, education, and community support. His story resonated with many, inspiring them to take control of their own financial futures. The audience listened intently as John recounted the night he met Mr. Smith, the pivotal moment that set his life on a new trajectory. He spoke about the ups and downs, the small victories, and the critical lessons he had learned. His words were filled with emotion, painting a vivid picture of the struggles and triumphs that had shaped him. "Remember," John concluded, "no matter how dark things seem, there's always a way forward. Seek help, educate yourself, and never lose hope. If I can turn my life around, so can you." His speech ended with a standing ovation, the applause echoing the validation of his efforts. John felt a profound sense of fulfillment, knowing that his journey had the power to inspire and uplift others. As he walked off the stage, John spotted Mr. Smith in the audience, his eyes glistening with pride. They shared a knowing smile, a silent acknowledgement of the incredible journey they had shared. John's life had transformed beyond his wildest dreams. From the depths of despair, he had risen to a place of stability and hope. His journey was far from over, but the foundation he had built, was strong and resilient. One day, Mr. Smith surprised John with an offer that would mark the pinnacle of his transformation. He proposed that John co-lead a new financial empowerment program at the community center aimed at reaching even more people in need. It was an opportunity to amplify his impact and help countless others break free from the chains of poverty. John accepted with gratitude and determination. Together, they developed a curriculum that combined practical financial advice with motivational support. The program's success was immediate, drawing in participants from all walks of life. John's story was a beacon of hope, showing them that change was possible. As the program flourished, John took a moment to reflect on his journey. The dark days, the relentless work, the sacrifices, they had all led to this moment. His life was a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of financial literacy, and the incredible impact of a helping hand. He knew there would be challenges ahead, but he faced the future with confidence. The lessons he had learned were ingrained in him, and he was equipped to handle whatever came his way. John's transformation was not just about financial stability. It was about finding purpose, hope, and a sense of fulfillment. John's story is a powerful reminder that no matter how dire the circumstances, there is always a way forward. Seek out mentors, educate yourself, and never lose hope. Your journey to financial stability and personal fulfillment can start today. If you know that John's story can also inspire you to turn over and take control of your life, write "I believe" in the comments below. This will be your mark, your starting point, and it will serve as a reminder of your commitment. But this is just the beginning. In our next video, we will delve into the crucial first steps John took to break the cycle of poverty. What is the one decision that changed everything for him? Stay tuned to find out.